And those who come to Christ must believe that Jesus was raised from the dead by God.
Yes, sir.
And that the resurrection of Jesus is the very center of the Christian faith. The resurrection is. The resurrection is the very center of the Christian faith. That God raised Jesus from the dead. And that's something for middle class, degree bearing, North County, St. Charles, West County folk to believe, because you know when we are impoverished, we don't think much about this. But when we start to elevate in life, when we become upward mobile, and we start to philosophize through the scripture and start to pin logic to the possibilities or the impossibilities of there being such a thing, then we sit in the upper middle class church. We don't go to the other one no more. We got to be around our kind, you know.
Tonight.
And then it begins to become a report that's scandalous, because we know that once you dead, you gone, and that dead folk don't get up. But the scandal of the Christian faith is that God did something that he's never done before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that he vindicated his son through and by the resurrection. And then we're called upon to believe this by faith. And it's hard to graduate from college and have this kind of faith. God help us tonight. This is the reason why young folk who go off to school and get sense don't come back to church, because this don't make sense.
My God, my God, my God, my God.
When they go off to college and they start to develop other relationships with non-believers and people of other persuasions that are not Christian, because they are not anchored in this. The resurrection of Jesus Christ done by God just doesn't make sense, because you cannot be in grad school and start to pronounce something that does not make sense. All the curriculums that we have is geared toward making sense. And so we start to join churches that do not preach the resurrection.
My God, my God, my God.
Because if you preach resurrection, you got to go to Friday. You cannot have a resurrection without a crucifixion. And upper class, sophisticated people don't want to talk about a God who gets himself crucified. But instead, the alternative is to talk about a God that will always prosper you. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so many mega experiences were overcrowded because people went to hear not about a dead Jesus, but they went to hear about, and the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And so, can I just go on and say this? Prosperity preaching has its place if you are mature in the faith. Baby saints have no business being developed around the language of misdirected prosperity.
Yes, sir.
An understanding of prosperity without a good understanding of faith will hurt you in the long run.